Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the pilot for the Rolling Road. In this show, there will be no fancy dancing, there will be no one thinking that they can sing, and most importantly, there won't be someone with more money than sense with jet black hair. This opening episode of the Rolling Road is just going to see me. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something a bit interesting, a bit unusual, something that no one has ever asked. Until now, of course. Which Mazda MX-5 in Forza Motorsport 7 is the fastest Mazda MX-5? It's pretty simple. We've got 11 tracks, 10 predominant tracks plus one bonus track, and we have got 11 cars. We have got every Mazda MX-5 at our disposal in Forza Motorsport 7, including a quartet of competitor cars. These competitor cars include the Fiat 124 Spider Abarth, the Subaru BRZ, the Nissan IDX Nismo, and the Tamo Racemo. And this will be the first car to tackle Round 1. The NA MX-5 from 1994, or as I like to call it, the NA1. We've got 11 tracks, 11 bench times. Let's see what the old girl can do. So, this little buzz box is our first car for the We Mazda Be Crazy Championship. This is the NA1 Mazda MX-5 from 1994, 110 horsepower, 100 foot-pounds of torque, weighs about 1.5 tons, so it's got a pretty decent power-to-weight ratio for what it is. This car actually very special because my dad had one, albeit in blue and not looking like Phil from Throttle. That said, however, this car surprisingly performed very well around Suzuka. Suzuka, of course, if you follow the Forza Motorsport franchise, being a track that hasn't appeared in the Forza Motorsport franchise since Forza Motorsport 4. Look how far we've come. That said, Phil, yes, I am calling him Phil, he's only a little boy, did a lap time, this was a best lap time on his second lap, a 2 minutes 56.487 seconds. I don't know if that's a decent enough benchmark time. I mean, it could be. There were some parts of the track where the car felt like it needed a little more horsepower. Like, for example, there's a nasty hairpin left-hander coming up in a couple of turns. Yeah, the car really needed a lot more horsepower to get out of there. Especially when you take into account that, as you'll see, we went the full initial D and drifted around it. Albeit unintentionally. Let's have a look. There it is! And yeah, the car just choked. I had it in second gear for that. I thought second gear worked on the first lap. Kinda sorta didn't work on the second. All told, however, Phil did what he could, and that's incredibly admirable, especially when you take into account that he had Liss Muppet at the wheel. All told, solid track, kinda sorta solid lap, but an incredibly brilliant little car. So, track number 1 saw us at the Suzuka alternate formation of the full circuit. Track 2 sees us at the Yas Marina North Corkscrew. This is an incredibly short track, and honestly the car performed brilliantly around here. There were a couple of moments where the car got a bit upset. There were some moments where I didn't put the clutch in enough, but stuff happens. Having said that, the benchmark lap time was a 1 minute 16.799 seconds. And this was set on what you are now currently watching, as I'm speaking right now, which was the car's third and final lap around the Yas Marina North corkscrew. Pretty well balanced actually. It's a short track in a car that doesn't have a huge amount of power. It seemed to work. This corner was a swine, I'm telling you. It was an absolute swine. All told, I was pretty happy with how the car performed. I don't really have any other complaints. Although, to be fair, trying to get from second to third half the time around this track, it was a bitch. Okay, and here we are at track 3, Mazda Laguna Seca Raceway. Oh my god, this car was amazing around this track. It was such a happy little car around this circuit. I don't know if it's because they have the same brand name and so the car felt some sort of brand-based bond to the track, but oh my god, this was such a brilliant little car to take around this track. It really was. Sure, this car's got just over 100 horsepower, but my god, it flew around this track, and as you'll see later through the corkscrew, it just danced through the corkscrew. It was beautiful. That said, the time that the NA1, or the open-top MX-5, or as I'm now calling him, Airhead Phil, did a 1 minute 59.423 seconds around Mazda Laguna Seca. This was on what you are currently viewing, which was Airhead Phil's third and final lap around the track. This was his third and final crack at the whip, and my god, he did not fail to impress. Alex from Throttle, if you're watching this, don't worry. Phil made you proud. Phil made you proud. He revved his little heart out for you. He made Papa Alex very proud. Had a bit of a scare through that one, although on lap 2 I thought, hey, what happens if I just lift off the throttle and the back end stepped out? Fun times! Here's the corkscrew, and as I say, this car just danced through here. Watch this. Beautiful. There was even a little bit of a bunny hop through there as well. This car was so good around this track. Anyone who says that the NA1 is shit around Laguna Seca, fight me, bro. Fight me. Track number 4 for round 1 of the We Mazda Be Crazy Championship brought us to an old fan favourite, Maple Valley Raceway. This was a track we were actually at when we did the Forgotten Muscle Championship, and yeah, let's ignore the prank that I had on turn 1, where I unintentionally gave Airhead Phil a black eye. Let's gloss over that and focus more on how the car performed. It actually handled the track surprisingly well. This car was a lot of fun, again, to take around Maple Valley. It was spectacular. It really, honestly was. The power, again, questionable. But the fun factor, top notch, 10 out of 10. Would recommend. The lap time that Phil did was a 2 minutes 5.134 seconds during the car's second lap, which is the lap you are currently watching. There's this great downhill section. You'll have seen this if you saw the Forgotten Muscle Championship. Near the final turn, this fantastic downhill section. Yeah, we were at 118 miles an hour down that hill in this little car. A car that weighs about as much as a lunchbox, and he was doing 118 down the hill. It is both scary and thrilling at the same time. A lot of fun though. Definitely a lot of fun. Could have done with a bit more grip as well for a couple of turns, but semantics. Here comes that downhill section. Again, 118 miles an hour. What? The next track that we took Airhead Phil to was Virginia International Raceway South Circuit. More specifically, the rallycross variation that we saw from the Hyundai Veloster shootout. Massive thanks to Alex from Fail Race for sharing this alternate formation with the rest of the world. This car handled surprisingly well, but as you'll see through turn 1, this is where I mentioned the grip. Look at the slide! That was a massive bit of mid-turn oversteer. And that's what I meant by I wish this car had more grip. It's got adequate grip as is. All these cars are running stock, I should point out. I should have pointed that out earlier in the video, I know, but ho-hum. But yeah, they're all running their stock formations, which means stock tyre tread, stock tyre width, stock engine, the whole shebang. The grip, I'll admit, off-road in the rallycross sections, surprisingly good. Surprisingly good. That said, Airhead Phil did a lap time of 1 minute 36.625 seconds on this, its second lap. It's more than safe to say that this car has done both Alex of Fail Race and Alex of Car Throttle very, very proud around this track. It certainly put a smile on my face, so I can't really complain, can I? Track number 6, or 7, I'm not entirely sure which, saw us bring in the NA1 to Lime Rock, specifically the South Chicane circuit, which I believe we've used before now for the Forgotten Muscle Championship. Don't quote me on that. All my days though, this car was very, very fun to drive around this track. And you can see here through turn 1, there's actually quite a lot of give in the suspension, actually made the whole car very, very wallowy through these first 2 turns. But you have to remember, it's a mid-90s machine. Of course, there's going to be a bit more play in the suspension than you'd actually like. Anyways, this was the car's third and final lap, and it did a 1 minute 11.816 seconds. This chicane was spectacular, by the way. The car just looked at it and went, was that it? Seriously, this thing, there's a reason why people turn the NA MX-5 into track machines. They're just brilliant little cars, and this lap definitely helped to back that point up. Track number 8 of round 1 of the We Mazda Be Crazy Championship saw us back at Road Atlanta, which we've previously visited for either the Forgotten Muscle Championship or the Hyundai Veloster shootout. I can't remember which it was. Now, the lap time that Airhead Phil set was on what you are currently seeing, which was the car's third and final lap. This car seems to be pulling out third laps out of its ass all of a sudden. I can't really explain that one to you. That said, the lap time was a 1 minute 56.493 seconds. And this car performed perfectly around Road Atlanta. This is the full circuit formation of Road Atlanta, and it was brilliant. Through that downhill chicane just there, it was amazing. It really honestly was. In fact, every chicane that I've thrown this car at thus far, the car's just bounced back. It's brilliant. It also pulled surprisingly well through this two-parter hairpin as well. Third gear through the first part, second gear through the second part, and it just went, okay. Could have done with a bit more power up this hill, I'll admit, because waiting for this car to get to the top of the hill was like pulling teeth. It took forever and a day, and I was very impatient about it. Outside of that, however, on the whole, pretty decent lap, all things considered. We've only got, what, 3 more tracks left now? Let's get to the next one. Our second to last scheduled track is the Bernese Alps Festival Circuit, where Gordon Bennett, this car proved that it could really shift. There is a massive downhill section coming up later in this lap. This is the car's third and final lap, by the way. We got it up to 129 miles per hour. It was terrifying. Words fail me, actually, as to how the engine didn't blow up. I mean, other than the fact that I don't have simulation damage turned on in Forza Motorsport 7, because I'm a bit of a pussy like that. That said, Airhead Phil's third and final lap time, which was the car's best lap time, was a 2 minutes 23.305 seconds. You can see here that now in the footage, it's really going some. And it got, yeah, this car got very, very unhappy under braking and downshifting at the bottom of that hill. All 3 laps, under braking and downshifting, for the left-hander after the base of that hill, yeah, the back end just tried to snap out from underneath me. Not fun. What was fun was the noise the car made in this tunnel, however. That is a bloody brilliant noise, and I dare anyone to challenge it. That said, however, we only have, if you include the bonus track, 2 tracks remaining. And I think you can all guess what the bonus track is. The final track, well, we're about to find out in some, I don't know, what, 15 seconds, I think? 10 seconds? I don't know. This hill was a pain in the arse, though. We dropped, I think at best we dropped like 400 RPMs trying to get up this hill. So be wary of that. Other than that, if you brought a fleet of these things to this track and left them all stock, you would have a belter of a race on your hands. I'm telling you, that would be fucking amazing. And I am going to need to bleep that out. God damn it. Well, you must have all seen this coming as a bonus track. Our bonus track is the Top Gear Aerodrome. Yes, and holy cow, this car was a lot of fun to drive around the Top Gear Aerodrome. It really, really was. The lap time was a 1 minute 34.306 seconds on what you are currently watching, which was the car's third and final lap. This car handled all the corners beautifully. Here we come up to Chicago. We did have a bit of oversteer through Chicago on the second lap, believe it or not. And then here comes the painful slug of getting up to the world-famous Hammerhead, which, yeah, this car handled really, really well. This car attacked Hammerhead, something fierce. I loved this opportunity. I loved hot lapping around here. It was amazing. Here we come up to the follow through. I think at best we were doing like 93 miles per hour I clocked past the tyre bundle on the exit of the follow through. I went over the rumble strip on the entrance, which is ballsy. There we go through the tyres, got both cameras to shake. Here we come, eventually, up to the penultimate turn. But yeah, all in all, very, very good car around what is sadly going to be a greatly missed track. Here we come, up to Gambon. Are you ready? And across the line. I have always wanted to do that. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen, the end of round 1 of the We Mazda Be Crazy leaderboard, championship, tournament thing. The fastest lap that the NA won, or Airhead Phil, or whatever you want to call it, set was a 1 minute 11.816 seconds, and this was at time around the Lime Rock South chicane. Will the car be able to hold on to those opening best lap times? Who knows? This is going to be a daily series as of round 1 onwards, so please do tune in tomorrow to watch round 2. If you've liked what you've seen here, please do make sure to subscribe, maybe give the video a like, maybe even share the video around with a couple of your friends. I don't know, who am I, your parents? No. That said, however, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this little taster of what the Rolling Road will bring once my 2 co-presenters get their asses in gear. And until round 2, take care, guys.